Okay, so when you open up UDK, you'll see these screens. Now the one behind it is the content browser, but the welcome menu is getting started, video tutorials, forums, what's new, and social media. You don't have to click on any of these, but what you do have to do is either start a new map or start an existing map. I'm going to choose an existing map just to show you some of the features in a editing game. My game is just called Game, DM Game, so I'm just going to open that up. And when I close the welcome menu and just close the content browser, as you can see, you get 4 screens and a lot of toolbars. And the 3 of them are set with wireframe meshes, and the other one is the game mode. So, as you can see, the top left is the side view, the top right is the front view, bottom right is the top down view, and the bottom left is the game mode view. So that's just a normal toolbar, except for that is the content browser. It's Kismet and Matinee, which I'll come on to later in the video. So you'll notice that these 4 screens all have the same toolbar, and basically these are different views. So if we just click on the wireframe view and the mesh view, and then the unlit mode and the lit mode, they're all just different views to help you out. And the game mode view you should see in the game. And you can that's to play the game, and these different screens are to make screens bigger or change the view screens. And you can move around using the mouse, and just to click around you can move around, and that's how you edit through the game. So now if I show you some features, if I just add a new map, you get many choices. So I'm just going to pick midday, and it'll just load up a view, and you get the content browser. And basically the content browser is the actor classes and what you need in the game, and you want to click all assets in clear every time you search, after you search, to clear all the assets. And as you can see, they're all in a thing, and there are the different types you click on. And here are the packages, and if I was going to open a package, it just shows you what each asset is made up of. The default, you can change that throughout the game. So yeah, just again, rephrase all assets, clear to go back to the main screen. Now for example, if I wanted to get a mesh of, say, a barrel, let me just find a barrel here. There's one there. I'll click on the barrel. Now I can either do it 2 ways. If you minimize the thing, it's very much harder to find it, so you have to scroll down a little bit further. There's the barrel. Click on it. Now you can click and drag, and as you see, it appears in the new world. You get a cube and just a map and a start point to start off with a new map. Or I can click, I can get rid of it, and I can start, and I can go new mesh, new static mesh. This interactor is used for movement and things, and as you can see, it's just a world. It's a barrel, and you can move your barrel left and right, up and down using that one. The next one over is rotation. See, I can rotate it. That one. The next one is scaling. See, it scales up. And the other one is scaling, but it scales in non-uniform scaling, while the other one is uniform, so it scales in and obviously Control Z just brings it back to the thing. That's just the view you get. Obviously it changes, you get a square and anything else. If you want to go back into, you want to clear all assets, it just clears it all. And that's the search bar where you can search. And next we'll be going on to talk about Kismet. the fate in the game. So now Kismet. And Kismet is basically the fate of the game, how you want your player to move about and what you want to change. So first again, I'll just add a new static mesh in the, I'll use the barrel again. And what I want to do is I want to hide the barrel at the beginning of the level. So I'm going to make a new rule. And for a rule, you need an event. So you right click and you have a lot of selections, so actions, matinee, conditions, variables, and event. Now for anything to happen, you need an event. So the easiest one to do is level loaded. And as you can see, it's a red feature and I want an action. So I look down, I want something to be toggled to hidden. So I go down to toggle to hidden. And as you can see, there are squares either side, and that's how you get the data to move across. So what I will do is I'll drag one to the other. You notice an arrow? It's almost like a flow of data. Without this arrow, you can't do anything. Now you notice on the bottom that there is a target, and this is the barrel. So to get the Kismet to know that it's a barrel, I need to right click again, new object variable. This just tells Kismet what to hide. And again, I drag to the object variable so it knows. And then I exit and I play. But you'll notice the barrel doesn't hide, and I get a warning static. Basically, this means that the mesh can't interpret the data. So what I need to do is delete the barrel and put it into a new type of mesh. So I right click and I use an interp actor. This means that the actor can interpret the data that's given to it. As you can notice, the mesh is different color. So I go back in. As I've deleted it, it doesn't know it's doing it. Again, I do new object variable and I put it to the target. And let's see again. We play and we notice that it's hidden. This just basically means that the barrel can now interpret data that's given to it. If we go back into Kismet, I'll just re-explain that these are very important. Matinee needs to know what is going to where. There are a lot of different things that you can use. You can even attach actions to events, meaning that you can have cycles and things. But without the arrows, the flow of data, Kismet doesn't know how to act. Once you've trained and know, you can make Kismet like this. It's very complex, many actions, and Kismet can run this in no time at all. You've just got to know where to put the flow of data and where not to put the flow of data to make sure that nothing conflicts with each other and it all runs smoothly. Now the next thing I'll go on to is Matinee, and now to make Matinee work you need to do it through the Kismet as well. Next thing is Matinee. Now Matinee is done in Kismet, but we can't have any rules that mean that matinee can't happen. For example, we can't see the matinee if the object's hidden. So I'm going to delete everything other than the event. And then I right click and I go new matinee. And then I will join it up like I just showed you in Kismet. Then I double click on the Kismet and it opens up the Kismet window. Now the main thing is keyframes in the groups, and that's just playing, rewinding and pausing. So the default time for a thing for a matinee is 5 seconds. Obviously you can increase this, and pulling the green one just shows how much you can play. So first I need a new empty group because this isn't a cutscene. I need a camera group for a cutscene. I'll just call it barrel move. Okay. And now I'll need within that group a new track. Now, as you can see, there are lots of different tracks, but I need a movement track because I want to move the barrel up in the air. So then I click, then I get rid of the Kismet window, and as you can see, I'm already clicked on it, and you can see there's a yellow square. So then I move to 5 seconds, the exact time, and then move the barrel to where I want it. I'm just going to move it up like that, and then after I've done that, I add a keyframe. You'll know when you add a keyframe because there'll be a little triangle. As you can see, there's the movement, and then when we go back, it'll automatically do that, and then all we need to do is make sure that it works, it's all in order, and then press play. And as you can see, the barrel moves up, and after 5 seconds, it stops. It needs all this data so it can move the shadows and move the things. You'll notice in the top corner it says lighting needs to be rebuilt. I'll explain that in debug, which is up next. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the debugging system in the game. As we have our original map here, we play it and you can see that the lighting needs to be built, and you may notice that the shadows aren't as precise as they could be. Basically, to make your game work as the best it can, the light needs to be rebuilt so that the game engine can respond to that. Now here we have our game. So up in this toolbar there are many buttons. The three that I've just hovered over are the three ones for debugging. You have geometry. This just tells you the static meshes in the game. It shows you all the errors, and it basically just helps you in what to do in the game to make your game better. Then I go over to the lighting. The lighting takes a bit longer. It's just going through all the different possible things that can happen in the game. The lighting runs a swarm agent. Basically, it emits photons and glints, and it just runs the light mass, which is all the light in the game, and then it will build the scenes. And the log is just information about how big it is and what it's doing throughout the process. The green just means that the job is a success and it's okay to close it down. And again, it will tell you all the problems with it. Obviously, it doesn't have any. So after you've done that, you're going to go and click and save. As soon as you move something else, the lighting will need to be rebuilt again. And as you can see, now it's the paths that need to be rebuilt. This is just because you've added something in the game, and building paths is for add AI in the game. Then we play again, and again there's no warning, so we're good to go. The next area is terrain. Now we have our map here, but I need to go over here to show you terrain. And basically, if you don't want a flat or rigid place for your player to play, then you want a terrain. Now, what you need to do is you need to go to Tools, and you need to click on New Terrain. Oh, there we go. And basically, that's just where you want to put it. I've just and finish. Now you'll notice it doesn't appear anywhere, but you will notice a small sign that looks a bit like mountains. But you also notice that nothing appears, just the sign. That's because terrain can only be viewed in the game mode. So if I pull out here and then click on the game mode, you'll notice this. And basically, this can be changed when you want. To do this, you use the terrain editing mode, just under the camera mode, and you'll get this. There's many things. Height map first, and that gives a clue to the height. I've put it in this mode because it's easier to see. So the first one is paint. You add strength to it, the radius is obviously, and the fall off, and it will give you a radius where you want to go. Now control and right click does the opposite, and control and left click does what you want to do. So left click will go up, right click will go down, and as you can see there, the mesh changes. The next thing is do it by vertex, so you can do that, but only pull up some vertices. That's like raised ground things. The next one is flatten. This just flattens from where you start, so you can raise ground like so. You can also lower ground, so flatten it out. This all just makes your terrain more unique. The next one is average. It just averages out. The opposite does do quite a lot. See there, it's just averaging out the thing. That's to get a nice slope. Doing the opposite just doesn't average. It does the opposite of average, just takes two. Now the most important bit is deleting things. Now if you want tunnels or whatever in your game, a big part of it is deleting, but you notice that the deleting sections are quite big. This is where tessellation comes in. Tessellation allows all the polygons, which are the mesh, to be more accurate. As you can see there, there's more things, and you also notice that the chunks have gotten smaller. Not by much, because the strength is still the same. Now if I go into the game mode, it doesn't look very nice. Although we've got terrain, we don't have a material. So I go into my content browser, open up, I want a ground. So I type in ground, and then I go to materials, and I find a material that I want. So for example, ground master. Fully the package, just to be sure, this just loads all the components in the package, and I click on it, and then I right click under the height map, new terrain setup layer, auto create. This just creates a layer for me. It's very simple, and you'll notice in a minute, there we go, there's ground. Now you'll notice that it's all ground and it looks much better. But what happens if you want more than just one layer? You can notice now that it's much easier to get rid of this tiny deletions, and it's just emphasizing the paint. So I've got raised grounds, and say I want to build like a rocky raised ground. To do that, I need to set up another layer. So I go into my content browser, and this time I type in rock, for example. Don't forget to all assets, and I go down to material, and again I choose one I like. I fully load it, make sure it's clicked, and then do the same again. Now you notice that this time the rock doesn't fully appear. So I go back out, and I use, instead of clicking the height map, I click the material, and I go over to where I want it, and I again control and left click, and after a little while it changes. There we have a rock material over a ground material. You have many more of these to create a more vivid landscape. And that's how you change, build, and create your own terrain. Next, I will show how to script in a level. So the next thing is, now scripting doesn't happen in UDK. You need an altogether new program. It's called Unreal X Editor. Now this is good for when changing the actual depths of the game, like changing what a character actually looks like and making your own assets. So we need to load up Unreal X Editor. This is really useful to get into the more complex things, and I won't be showing you how to do it, just that I have done it. So we'll just load up Unreal X Editor. And as you can see, you just get a start bar, all the different things on it. You don't need to worry about that, you just close it. And basically, to open up a new package, you just go to open and then find the package through the folder called src. And basically, it's just a plain page of text, and it's just showing you, as me opening up, and it's just showing you what to do. And basically, there's many hundreds of different commands that you can put in. So, for example, down there it's the mesh that the enemy has on it. And to put it into the game, you need a full compile. And then when it's fully compiled, you go back into UDK, and before it opens, it'll ask you to update the script. You say yes, and then it will give another debug to what it is. Next, I will be going on and showing you BINC. Next program I use that's not UDK is BINC, and BINC allows videos of your own to be put into UDK. UDK uses BINC as well. So this is the program that you get, and basically you make a video, and then what you want to do is BINC it. And basically I'm going to find a video that I've already BINCed, but the broad data, it's can be any format. I think my format is VCL media or VCL player, and basically you choose which or whatever video you want to use in your game. And for example, credits, and then I just press BINC. All of these things are just properties that you can then press BINC. It would run, and it would also have a debug, and then you get another one of the same name in a BINC format. That's when you put it back into UDK, and then you import it using the content browser. To the left of the packages is a button called import. You import it, and then you can create it into a material game. Is the Unreal front end. So this is the last thing I'm going to show, and this is Unreal front end. This is part of UDK. You go into the UDK folders, and the program will run from there. Now, Unreal front end is the way to package the game. It is when you finish the game and you want it in folders so that other people can actually play the game. So I've just loaded up Unreal front end. It's just loading. And you'll notice you get this screen. Now on the left, you'll see that the packages that you want. One of the most important things is to add the one you want to package into Maps to Cook. This just tells the program that which one you want to do. So you go from the left to the right. The first thing you want to do is full recompile your scripts. This again just makes sure that all the scripts are in check and there is no problems with the scripts, and it puts it into the programming language that then UDK can run and the game can run. The next you want to do is cook. You want to clean and full recook. This just renders the packages and makes sure everything in the game is good to go. This is an optionary step, launching the game. Just launch the game in the program, not UDK, but in the program that will run, just to see if it's the right game and if it all works. After that, you want to package the game. This basically just puts the game into folders and all the things it needs to run properly. After you've packaged the game, it'll tell you where you want the folder to go, and in there you click into binaries, Win32, and the application will be there for you to run, and your game will be in the map section. Don't forget to put your game type as the one that you've saved your map to. That's very important, or sometimes the game will not work. That's it. Thank you.